Today, we're diving into a chilling and atmospheric reboot of a beloved comic book character, Hellboy the Crooked Man. This latest installment takes a distinct departure from previous Hellboy films, blending supernatural horror and folk mysticism with a leaner, more contained story. Set in 1959 Appalachia, the film follows Hellboy, portrayed by Kesy, alongside rookie paranormal investigator Bobbie Jo Song, Adeline Rudolph. Together, they're stranded in a creepy rural community plagued by witches, and their mission leads them straight into a deadly encounter with the terrifying Crooked Man. This version of Hellboy skips the origin stories and dives straight into a mid-mission adventure, delivering intense horror right from the start. The film is based closely on the 2008 comic arc, where the Crooked Man, a former Civil War profiteer turned emissary of Satan, haunts a small town. Fans of the comic will appreciate the movie's faithfulness to the source material, though some might find its indie horror tone quite different from the more action-heavy predecessors. The movie clearly leans into its horror roots, more so than any previous Hellboy movie. Director Brian Taylor does a great job capturing eerie Appalachian landscapes, and the use of practical effects enhances the grim Lovecraftian creatures Hellboy must face. While the action is lighter than expected, horror fans will relish the atmosphere, with a standout sequence in an abandoned church filled with zombies and witches. However, the CGI effects at times feel unfinished, especially during early scenes featuring a giant spider. While the makeup for the Crooked Man is a highlight, Hellboy himself falls short visually. His missing yellow eyes, a classic feature from the comics, break immersion for some fans, leaving Kesy's portrayal feeling less supernatural than hoped. Kesy's performance as Hellboy is interesting but divisive. He takes a more subdued approach, unlike the charisma-filled portrayals of Ron Perlman or David Harbour. This tone works in quieter moments, particularly in conversations with Bobbie Jo, but Hellboy sometimes feels overshadowed by the film's other characters and monsters. Even with a limited budget, the horror elements manage to shine, and the story, though simple, carries significant weight, focusing on good versus evil in an intimate, rural setting. If you're a fan of gothic horror, or want to see Hellboy in a grittier, more contained adventure, this film might just be for you. But if you're looking for the fast-paced, action-heavy Hellboy from earlier films, you might feel let down by its slower pace and reliance on horror tropes. Overall, Hellboy the Crooked Man is a 3 out of 5. It's not a perfect reboot, but for fans of the character and the comic's darker side, it has some solid foundations for future sequels.